Hello, everybody. Dawson Garcia hit one from the logo tonight to upset Michigan. And speaking of logos, we hope you noticed the logo change on the channel. This is, of course, now one and done college basketball all the time. And we're coming to you live, taking a break from the DFS streets tonight to bring you some news and notes from around the country. El Capitan himself, Mike, joins me to do that right now, recording live from somewhere. This is one and done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that green screen. Nope, that one and done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. And we are powered by the multiverse's greatest website of all time of humankind. That's drroto.com. I'm your sometimes humble host. I go by the name of Jay Heinrich, and I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. But we all know who we're here to see. El Capitan himself. He is the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. Not see green. I can't even get done with a one and done ship. I haven't even kicked it yet.
You were doing so good.
I was cooking for a second, and then now twice in the first 30 seconds of the live show with you on the screen. However, you are El Capitan. That is Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what to do?
Man, that's a tough thing. We know we changed all of our stuff over to one and done, and the things that we've been saying for three plus years now are changing. But hey, that's life, right? But man, I'm excited. We haven't really done one of these shows in quite some time. I mean, typically we dive right into DFS, and that's kind of the main focus. But as we creep, into January, we're wanting to take an overview here of the entire country and start talking about things that are happening around the world of college basketball as we enter March, the Old Madness tournament there. And I'm excited to get it all, get these topics going, man.
Yeah, it's good to have a little news and notes action. We love our DFS game. We love talking DraftKings with our with the old breadheads with the one and done universe. But breaking down some news and notes for you tonight as Cam hops in the live chat right now. C Thuggin saying that he hopes the week is going well, guys. Appreciate you, Cam. I know we had a random comment 5 hours before the show started as well, and it's one of our Kentucky friends hanging out. March Pope, of course.
I wonder who.
Of course, I wonder who that could be. We'll see. We'll see if all of our friends hop in the live chat like Cam did as well. Good stuff there. And again, hit those like and subscribe buttons. One and Done College Basketball is where you find us on YouTube. If you look for us on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, at One and Done CBB as it scrolls across the bottom of your viewing device there. Follow us everywhere. Who knows? We'll start dropping bets here and there. Those core fours go out and get posted to those on days where we don't have shows. So we're still giving you the plays and the way to start your lineup. So follow us on all the socials. Do your thing, especially over on YouTube. Hit all those buttons, like, subscribe, notification bells. Speaking of Twitter, shout out to Neil, Darren, Bellyball, Elm Tree, Jody, who are all interacting with us over there on X constantly, boosting our posts, replying to our tweets and stuff like that. We definitely appreciate that. So keep that rolling over there for us. We appreciate that. Let's get to 1290 on YouTube tonight. We're at 1289 right now. Just need one sub. Let's do it. Be that person. Speaking of X, speaking of Elon's hellhole, our guy CC Hustle, our guy Nate put up a poll on the One and Done X account the other day. Or was it today? Asking, today, no undefeated teams left. Who is the best team? Auburn, Duke, Tennessee, and Iowa State are the options there. Not looking too good for Tennessee there. A big zero ski on the old voting tallies for Tennessee. 19 votes for Auburn, 8 for Duke, and 6 for as we get the poll. We're gonna get that poll pulled up here. Very nice. Look at that. Excellent stuff there. I went and did some long division earlier to figure out the exact numbers there. But 19 votes for Auburn, 8 for Duke, and 6 for Iowa State. Mike, not surprised at this point. There's too much talent. There's too much going on in college basketball for people to just, even the days of a Wichita State running the show in against lesser competition is probably over and done with. So these are 4 really good teams, though. Mike, what are your how are you feeling about a few of these, and what are your thoughts on the poll results? I mean, Tennessee, 33 people voted, and nobody thinks Tennessee's the best. What are your thoughts about all that?
Well, my vote, and I was one of those 34 votes that happened, went to Auburn. And the reason why, my dear friend here, number 1 in offensive efficiency, and they have Janai Broome, who's pretty good. I know he's injured right now, but he's just an absolute monster. Questions on whether he's going to play 30 minutes. He's playing 30 minutes, and he's absolutely delivering. They're also 14th in defensive efficiency, so you love the pairing with the number 1 offense in the country. And the pieces around Janai Broome have been awesome. Chad Baker-Mazzaro slashing this year, Jay, 54, 38, 92. That's what you want to put around a player like Janai Broome. And then also on the front line, Dylan Cardwell has been awesome. He's been a monster on defense, shot blocking. He's been a lob finisher when people are trying to double team Janai Broome. And then we talked about this guy when he broke out in the Houston game way back at the beginning of the season there, and that's the Hot Pettifer. He's just been a spark plug off the bench. So Auburn, man, they're right now my favorites to win it all. If Janai Broome is healthy, I just have a hard time picking against them. Cam saying if you didn't vote Auburn, you're wrong. I would agree with that. However, Duke is, they are one of the top efficiency teams in KenPom history. So is Auburn. I think I saw a tweet that within the last 10 to 20 years. So Duke, number 3 in offensive efficiency, 2nd in defensive efficiency. We know Cooper Flagg's a stud, but what's crazy is Maliwatch is starting to get going, and that's pretty scary. A 6% shot blocking rate. He has the number 2 offensive rating in the country. Obviously, he's not, he's more of an around the rim guy, so the offensive rating stats are a little bit skewed, but he's just so valuable with his with his rim running and just finishing around the basket. And then old Khan there, he's getting it done, man. Great 3-point shooter. He's a secondary playmaker to Proctor. He doesn't turn the ball over. It's like a 10% turnover rate for Khan Knipple there. So just a great player. And then they have depth. We talked about it during the offseason. Jay Malik Brown, Caleb Foster, Mason Gillis. These guys coming off the bench, that's what they didn't have last year. And then you mentioned Tennessee. They didn't get any votes. That's crazy because they were the number 1 team in the country, a couple of weeks ago for the last couple of weeks. And
how soon we forget?
Yeah, soon we forget. Chaz Lanier's just cooled off. He made me forget about Dalton Connect even existed last year, which is kind of crazy. Was not expecting this type of performance from Lanier. And then Zakai Ziegler, just fantastic, man. He was great last night. Jemai Meshack, just a glue guy. You have Milicic. He's got versatility in the front court. So I like them. I can see why people don't vote because it's hard, if you're not voting for Auburn or Duke. But there was a team last night, Jay, that I think you caught most of the game, man. The Iowa State team. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with Iowa State, and that 17-point beatdown they put on the Jayhawks last night was
17. Former number 1 preseason team in the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, Dickinson was nowhere to be found. Played 30 minutes, and I see the head go down, and I understand why. But he didn't. It was nowhere to be found last night, and that's not even accounting for the backcourt play that Iowa State had. And you can make an argument that the Cyclones have the best backcourt in the country, right? Gilbert's giving them everything from a playmaking perspective, from a shot creation perspective. He gives you everything that you need. Curtis Jones establishing himself as one of the best pure scorers in the entire country. And then Lipsy, I said it when we had our DFS show, I'm going to keep doing the Lipsy dance, the rain dance until Lipsy happens. And that it's capable of happening. He'll pop off when he needs to, but he just hasn't had to do much yet. It's once tournament time comes around.
Yeah.
That's the thing is we haven't even seen Lipsy have to play his best for prolonged stretches of time for this club. Yeah. It's very impressive. They're playing faster, Mike. There's some versatility in the front court. I like the Cyclones. I did vote for the Cyclones. Maybe a little bit of recency bias there. Again, like you said, Tennessee was just the number 1 team in the country within the last month, and now 34 people voted in this poll, and nobody thinks they're the best. That's the way that's the way it goes these days. And I understand why you pick a Duke or Auburn, but let's not count out Iowa State and those pesky Cyclones. Cam hopping in, Iowa State's probably the best team in the country at home. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, but listen,
it's a place to play.
If you got a neutral court, does it come back to the middle a little bit? I'll take that backcourt on a neutral court any day. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough.
Jay loves the backcourts.
I do love some.
Give me the Janai Broom and the Cougar Flies.
I get it either way for sure. Good stuff
there,
there,
Mike.
Mike.
Live chat is popping there, man.
Live chat is popping for sure. Good evening, Mr. Forklift Jeremy. Good to see you there in the live chat. Cam hopping back in. Auburn experience giving them the edge over Duke. And Jeremy's sort of in the same boat that I am. I don't know that I could ever just click on Duke's name for anything in particular. Maybe I could. But yeah, for sure. You guys keep the live chat rolling as we keep rolling along here on this fine college basketball program. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Like, subscribe, notification bells. A lot of you are hanging out with us over on X. We see you. We appreciate you. Do us a solid. Get over to YouTube. One and Done College Basketball. Type it in. We're going to pop up. Hit the buttons and follow along. As we move on now to Louisville's resurgence this year, Mike, kind of out of nowhere, and Pat Kelsey has it rolling.
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't see this. Like, this is a massive turnaround. I mean, 6-1. Like, I get the ACC, and again, Jeremy might say different because we do this every year with the ACC. I think Lenardi has like 5 teams in. This is like every year, and then 3 of them make it to the Final Four. But yeah, I mean, 6-1 in ACC plays Louisville. The metrics, they're okay. 30th in offensive efficiency, 39th in defensive efficiency. 7-4 in the non-con, but it was against the 40th ranked schedule. So Kelsey got this team ready to go, man. You had, no Pryor, after like 6 or 7 games, no Ali Khalifa. So that 5 spot just seemed kind of up in the air, and James Scott's really been that X factor for them. Obviously Rain Smith can light it up. Chucky Hepburn, I know a lot of people give him grief, but he's a great 2-way player, man. Just his defensive presence has really boosted the team. And then Terrence Edwards has gotten it going from James Madison. Like, we knew he could score, but he just gives them a unique weapon with his size and his ability to shoot from deep and slash to the lane, man. So I think Babu's jumping in here. The young center rocking again. Louisville doing this without 2 of their better players, man. Like, this has been awesome. We'll see if the train can keep rolling, right? 6-1 is an awesome start there. Jay, any thoughts on this was a team that was down in the, I mean, I wouldn't even say the dumps. They were lower than that under Payne. So thoughts here?
Yeah, unfortunately, but like you said, and like I said too, leading into it, Coach Kelsey has done a tremendous job there. I want to focus on Rain Smith a little bit. I replied to a tweet on the One and Done account the other day, asking about, can Louisville contend with Duke in the ACC? And I said, listen, when Smith is shooting like he did against Pitt, 7 for 11 from deep, and they needed every bit of it too. They won that game 82-78. They needed almost every one of them out of him in that game. Yeah. Now listen, here's the thing with Smith. The game before, he was 1 for 7 from 3, and those are the only shots that he took. And the only other stats that he contributed were 3 rebounds. I mean, you can't completely disappear like that. He's so shot dependent, right? He's got to score the basketball to mean something to this team. But that's the thing, is he means so much to this team. His shooting means so much to this team. They're going to need their best. They're going to need his best to keep up with the other teams at the top of the standings. A very important piece to Louisville's puzzle this year, and what is shaping up to be maybe a slightly down, but still, a competitive ACC.
We learn our lesson every year by saying they're down. So it's tough when the SEC and Big 12 are so good.
Who's the hater in the chat? Louisville has to give away 1,000 free tickets to try to get fans. Is that true? Is there any validity to that?
Ooh,
I don't know.
Shots fired in the chat. That's what I love about these shows. The shots get fired on these shows.
We do. We love it. We love to see it. Keep it going. Keep it coming. Love to see the live chat flowing. Is that faith and some fancy letters that I can't barely read? I'm sorry. I'm trying to read. I see the skull at the end of
with
it.
the
Man,
skull, yeah.
I'm gonna have to get some readers, man. It's sad. It's getting to that point, but we're okay. We're gonna keep kicking here. We're gonna keep making it. Good stuff. Keep the live chat rolling. There, yeah. Resurgence from Louisville. Surprising, but again, it's Pat Kelsey. So there you go. Good stuff there. Like and subscribe, y'all. Have we hit 1290 yet? Can we get is the producer? Let me know if we can. Have we hit 1290 yet? Because we need to get there. I think we can.
Maybe Faith.
Yeah, Faith, if you haven't hit those buttons yet, do that for us. We would appreciate that, getting to 1290 tonight. As we move on next, finally, for some of you I know, getting to some SEC talk right here on this fine college basketball program on whatever viewing device you're watching us on. We appreciate you. And by the way, we appreciate our guy at Fantasy Nav also back there behind the scenes pushing buttons tonight. Our guy, Eric the Blue. Maybe he'll hop in the live chat with some fire emojis or something. Maybe stoke it a little bit. Nape C Hustle, I mentioned him earlier, at the Real Napier. The guy's doing things behind the scenes. Okay, SEC talk, Mike. Big Blue Nation. You know we love our Kentucky fans. They've got to like how their season's gone so far. New coach in Mark Pope coming over from BYU, replacing John Calipari. New energy, new vibe. Feel like I could say the Wildcats have met and probably exceeded expectations early in Pope's run. And now, meanwhile, on the flip side, on the other side of the coin, Mike, in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where the aforementioned Calipari landed after, unceremoniously. Yeah, sure. Just like Shaka Smart was a mutual decision to leave Texas. Landing there in Fayetteville isn't going as smoothly. Some are questioning if this is even a tournament team at the time. Mike, two programs seemingly going in different directions. It's a ton of talent on both teams, though, Mike.
Yeah, and what's weird is I don't know if we saw this dramatic of separation in year one. I mean, you look at Kentucky 14-3, 3-1 in the SEC, toughest conference in the country. Arkansas 11-6, 0-4 in the toughest conference in the country. Could that be flipped? Potentially, right? Like every game in the SEC is crazy. Like it is absolutely crazy. So I mean, we'll talk about the rest of the SEC here in just a second. But just focusing on these two teams, man. Kentucky number 2 in offensive efficiency, 75th in defensive efficiency, which it's kind of shocking. I'm surprised this defense isn't grading out better. Like individually, they have really good defensive players, and that's kind of what we talked about. But Lamont Butler has answered my question from all offseason on who would play the point guard, and he's doing a hell of a job of doing it. So I'll eat some crow on that whole deal. But he's been fantastic this year. And then I'll eat crow on Otega Owe. I did not see him being like a major part of this team. He's giving it to you on both ends of the floor. Amari Williams can't take any credit because he was already a really good player in the CAA. He's obviously super effective on both ends of the floor and getting it done in the SEC. And then Kobe Bryant shooting 47% from three, just lighting it up still. Jackson Robinson kind of feels like he's been forgotten. Well, now he's kind of reemerged here, finally getting into a rhythm the last few games. To me, I mean, the story for Kentucky is like defense. Like, is that going to rear its head? Because we can't be giving up, 85, 90 points. And then Arkansas, it's kind of the opposite. There's no offense. 74th in offensive efficiency, 28th in defense. There's just no continuity on offense. They have 329th in minutes continuity. Like, what are we doing, Cal? Like, I don't know, man. Like, some of this has to do, injuries, the front court, Ivisic and, Adu. But John L. Davis just isn't the player he was for the past 2 years. And a lot of that has to do with how he fits next to Flan and Wagner. Like, those guys need the ball in their hands to be effective. Wagner needs to slash the lane and be able to create. And then Flan, obviously, is a nice ISO player, can create. And you want him taking a lot of shots. So, we dive into portal winners all the time. John L. was number one on our big board, but sometimes fit is more important. We're seeing that across the country with teams like Arkansas and Indiana. So this thing feels a little messy for Cal in year one. And this is different, Jay, than what he normally does. He's normally gone with the, freshman-led deal, and that's not the case this year. He tried to switch it up. I don't know, man. It's just not working out right. There's plenty of time, though. You can grab quad one wins like nothing in the SEC, though.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities to claw their way back into relevancy. And I saw someone that we respect quite a bit in the college basketball reporting scene say that maybe the game has just passed Cal by.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, hey, there's a lot of things different. He's trying to adjust by going away from the all freshman gimmick and
hurt him,
switching it up. Yeah, it didn't, and it's not like they're not. I don't want to say an expensive roster, but yeah, I mean it's not like there isn't a lot of money that those guys are making on that team right now to not play good basketball together. So I mean, it's tough to look at if you're a Razorbacks fan, but maybe that'll be a lesson in portal roster construction. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times where it hasn't worked, and we see it where it does work.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And the live chat's on fire, and I'm not surprised after we start talking Kentucky that it's Peanut Butter Posse there. We talked about Pope. Yes, we're going. There he is. Calipari. Okay, all right. Listen, here we go. Listen, I want to talk about Kentucky real fast. I'm going to keep talking about Kentucky, so don't go far, Peanut Butter Posse. Look at their 3 losses, okay? From deep in their 3 losses. Most recently against Georgia, they were 6 for 25. They went 4 for 22 against Ohio State, and they went 7 for 27 way back in early December against Clemson. Kentucky shoots 36.5% from 3 on the season. Okay,
bingo.
When they're not shooting the 3 ball well, or if they're playing against teams that are just outright better against defending the 3, you see what could possibly run this team into some trouble down if they have to fight their way back into a game for some reason and rely on the 3 ball. If it's not falling, especially from Kobe Brea, who's lights out, we've questioned if his pace is sustainable throughout, and he's still shooting 47% from 3. So I mean, pretty soon we just need to accept this might just be who the guy is from deep. I mean, it speaks volume to his importance to the team's success, and just in general, if they're not shooting the 3 ball well, and I'm sure Peanut Butter Posse could tell us, could be their Achilles heel for sure. 2 teams in 2 different directions, but plenty of time for Coach Cal to right that ship. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you're hanging out with us tonight. One and Done College Basketball over on YouTube. If you're hanging out with us on Elon's Hellhole over there on X, we appreciate you all the same. Make sure you're giving us a follow wherever you're watching us if you can. And here comes
the excuses.
Here it comes. Back it up. Beep, beep, the excuses train. First road game trap leading into Gonzaga. Listen, I understand, but I'm just pointing out, to me, when I'm looking at these games and seeing how Kentucky's performed.
Yeah, there's a trend.
There's a trend here. If they're not shooting the ball well from 3, whether it's Christmas in New York,
and that's where a defensive slugfest would work its way into a win. And I don't know that I thought that they would have that, but 75th in the country in defensive efficiency, I don't know that they can win a slug, a 58 to 57 slugfest. So yeah, Davis at Arkansas, Balo at IU, Hawkins. Yeah, I mean,
well, no, and I mean, obviously, we see all the time in professional sports, guys are overpaid, and obviously it's going to happen at this level too. What's his name that transferred from Georgia? The quarterback is apparently making $10 million.
Well, he's going for the girl, though. He's going for the girl.
Yeah, but he's got the girl, and he's making $10 million. Like,
what a guy, dude.
He was going to go anyway.
They didn't even need to give him the money.
They didn't even need to give him $10 million, but they gave it to him anyway. It's the amount of money going around in college right now. I'm not mad about it. Get paid, and these guys should get paid. But we're going to see some overpays. In terms of what we see in the production side of things, like Babu was hitting on a little bit earlier in the chat. There we go. Producers in my ear right now. 1290. We reached it. Somebody hit that button. We appreciate you. Let's keep it going. Let's get another one before the show's over with. 1291, maybe even. Yeah, hey, there's no doubt that Mark Pope and Kentucky have performed well against the best teams in college basketball. There's no doubting that. But they've also shot the ball really well in all of those games. And they're a good shooting team. Like I said, 36.5% from deep for the season. If they go cold, next time they lose, because they'll lose again. Next time they lose, look at that box score. Under 33% from 3. I bet it will be. Mike, the SEC in general has performed pretty well here, I'd say, lately. And we've talked about Kentucky maybe overachieving early in Pope's tenure here. The SEC on the whole has really impressed at times from top to bottom.
Yeah, we just had to touch on this, man, because this is the highest rated, conference on Ken Palm. Right now, Lenardi has 12 teams. 12 of the 18 getting in. All 18 are inside the Ken Palm top 75. That is that is pretty insane.
Impressive.
So just needed to touch on that and talk about ACC being down. I know he's down the Mountain West, right? We're grabbing a couple of bids from that ridiculous year that the Mountain West had. They're down to 3 in Lenardi. That's probably where they're going to settle at. And what we thought in the offseason was maybe could they get to 4? Potentially. Obviously, but the SEC, man, it's just been lights out. So any thoughts on just the overall strength of the SEC, man?
It's just every night it's a gauntlet. And you mentioned it earlier. Like Cal and Arkansas can just rack up quad 1 wins any night of the week.
Yeah, it's not like they can't run off 3 straight.
Right. And then all of a sudden you look at a resume that looks a lot better. Now, granted, like there's some teams and their schedule would need to line up. But it's not like they can't beat the best teams in this conference. We're talking about them for a little bit like they're, dead to rights.
Yeah, anybody can beat anybody. Seriously, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and especially when you have that sort of talent on that. They're 0-4 right now. I would say, but then, let's look at – I feel like they're going to go on a mini run here because everybody – Coach Cal, he hears it, and they all hear it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They all hear it. He's going to figure it out, and they'll 3 out of the next 4 or something like that. Yeah, no days off in the SEC, says Faith. That's right. No days off indeed. Keep hitting those buttons, like, subscribe, notification bells, do all that stuff now. And if you are a longtime fan, aficionado of whatever – you want to call yourself, breadhead, if you will. We like to every once in a while go to our own little segments that we have, and I have the conductor's corner, and our guy Mike, he has his own here, and we're gonna get to it right now, and that is the mid-major minute.
Man, I missed that beat. So one thing I love to do, and one thing that we do all off season, is we don't just like to track the Power 4. We're really the Power 5 conferences in college basketball, and we like to track the mid majors and how they're doing, man. So fun to bring this segment back to you guys. And there's 3 teams I just want to touch on real quick before we get to our last segment. It's going to be UC Irvine, Bradley, and Samford. With UC Irvine, man, shout out to a friend of the show, Russell Turner. He gave us an interview a couple of years ago. He had just lost Dawson Baker and DJ Davis from that really good team that he had. This past offseason, Darren Saran ended up going to Stanford, so lost another key player to the high major schools here. And they just continue to get it done. They're 9th in the country in defensive efficiency. They're 3rd in the country in free throw percentage, and they're 46th in assisted field goals made. So just wanted to shout out UC Irvine, who's getting it done in a very, very tough Big West Conference here. Bradley, they're back at it again atop the MVC here, boasting a top 100 offensive and defensive efficiency. They're 2nd in the country in three-point shooting, so that'll get it done. And some familiar names here, Duke Dean, who's been around, and then Zeke Montgomery coming over. These guys have been fantastic in the backcourt. Then Darius Hannah's taken a step forward in their front court. He's had a really nice year. And then for Samford, Buckyball is alive and well after that exhilarating year they had last year. They ended up getting Rylan Jones back, and he's been awesome as a scorer distributor. They're top 50 in the country in offensive efficiency. They're shooting 38% from 3. They take a ton of them. They live and die by the 3. That's Buckyball. But it's been Trey Ford, the SEC transfer. He's been dominating. And then also Tulane transfer Colin Holloway has been awesome, formerly of Georgetown. He's given them a big boost. So they have a lot of talent there. And these 3 teams, UC Irvine, Bradley, Samford, they make their way into the NCAA tournament, and they have enough talent to knock somebody off. So just wanted to shine a little spotlight here on these 3 mid-major teams. And that right there, my friends, was your mid-major minute.
Hard not to get down to that.
Yeah, those beats, man. Those beats, man.
A little bit of that.
Yeah,
a little bit of that action. Good stuff, Mike. And shout out also the mid-major minute is the mid-major minute. It's not the mid-major 5 minutes. So we couldn't really get to everybody that we wanted to get to necessarily. Like
I could have.
McNeese. Yeah, I guess you could have. But McNeese, UC San Diego, Yale. I'm sure the next time we hit a mid-major minute, those guys will probably end up making an appearance. And you know what else is making an appearance? The new subscribers. Right there, we're at 1291 now. Got a couple since the show started. Appreciate you for doing that. Keep those buttons being pushed. Is Faith hopping in there, asking a good question. As of right now, who is front runner for Coach of the Year? Saying Mark Pope is their choice there. Peanut Butter Posse, I'm sure will be happy about that. I'm gonna go ahead and lean towards Otzelberger from Iowa State. Like, I spoke pretty highly of them earlier, and I think that he's in that conversation as well. But Mike, anybody else on that radar? Maybe somebody else that we discussed earlier?
Yeah, we talked about Kelsey. I mean, I think he's got to be up there too. For sure. It's been an awesome year for him. Tom Izzo deserves a lot of credit for what he's done at Michigan State. I mean, they're sitting atop the Big Ten there. So Brad Underwood at Illinois, I kind of didn't think they were going to be able to do the things that they needed to do. They're one of the better defensive teams in the country. And Cam Stan probably odds. He's an Iowa grad. Hate saying that. Yeah, they've been awesome this year, man. They've been awesome.
Takes a big man to say that, Cam. And just know that you're right for doing that. It is the correct answer. Although, I don't know. Pope's obviously had himself a hell of a year. And we'll find out what Pope is made of as he runs this gauntlet in the SEC. Like, hey, they're probably gonna lose a couple here in a row or something crazy. And oh my God, the sky is falling. And then it's Kentucky and Pope will swing
peanut butter is an Iowa State. Well, yeah, but it like doesn't mean that you don't live up to the high expectation. I don't think a lot of people considering them the best team in college basketball. I don't know that was the expectation. I think top 5, top 10 type team. So I get it though. Pope and Kelsey have done more as far as an expectation, but you can't sleep on guy like Izzo's done it for 30 years, right? That doesn't mean he shouldn't get credit for how he's doing this year.
Well, and that's normally the thing is like the only time Izzo will win it is if in the preseason they had him pick dead last, and then he goes and he finds a way to win 19 games, and then they praise him for taking, and then it's like, well, no, what if he's just good all the time and it's just impressive and they just beat the crap out of teams? Like, that's good too. Who knows? But good stuff there. Love that. Love the prompt there in the chat from the live chat for sure. Let's keep that rolling. Let us know in the live chat, who do y'all think Coach of the Year is? Definitely want to hear from you there. One more segment here, and then we'll get you out of here. Appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. 1291 now on the subs, which is awesome. Really appreciative of that. How about some dangerous teams come March? We talked about some heavy hitters on this show earlier, Mike, and some teams that'll probably fall on that top 2 seed line, but how about outside of that, a little bit farther past that, maybe a couple of teams on your mind that we're going to need to pay attention to?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to want to play St. John's. Like, if you just look pound for pound in a starting lineup, like, it's really hard to find. You have 4 studs, like Kadari Richmond, you got Davon Smith there. Ejiofor's been all conference caliber. RJ Lewis has been all like these guys have all been all conference caliber at certain points during the season. Still some wrinkles to iron out there, but they look really good. And I would just hate to play them because you have a couple, not 1, but 2, 3 guys that can dominate. And that's just kind of tough to stop. And of course you have Rick Pitino there. And then Clemson, like maybe I'm looking into it last year, but I'd actually like this front court a little bit better. I know PJL is a great player, great offensive weapon, but I like Victor Locken, man. Like he is just so good on both ends of the floor. Shefflin's taking a step forward. Chase Hunter can turn it on when the lights are the brightest. I don't think anybody's going to want to see Clemson again, Jay. You got anybody that you're feeling before we get out of here?
I saw a projection, might have been yesterday, that had Houston as a 4, and they were in Tennessee's region. Thanks a lot. Right? If you're a Tennessee fan and you see Houston.
That's like Oregon in football getting Ohio State as a
what a rip, man. Like, and that's just how Tennessee's luck is, honestly. And I mean, we know what you get out of this team. It's a veteran team, and they're gonna just absolutely clamp you down every single night. Nothing has changed about that. Not one thing. Their defense is still going to win them games and keep them in every single game, no matter what.
Yep, every single game they'll be in it.
You want to line up across Houston as a 1 seed if they're a 4?
No,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. So that's an easy one for me. Thank you for setting that one up on a tee for me there. That's just too easy. Before we close out, Peanut Butter Posse actually throwing it out there for Chris Beard, 15-2. He has Ole Miss. What do you think about the job Chris Beard's done out there?
Yeah, I think it's been good. I think we got to see a little bit more, and I got to see a little bit more in SEC play. They didn't play anybody in the non-con, and they're doing well right now in the SEC play. So I got to give props now, but I need to see the whole SEC slate because we didn't get anything in the non-con. And then Peanut Butter's last thing saying Houston, well, it won't happen because I know they're both great defenses, but Iowa State's playing a lot faster than they have in the past couple of years. They're nearing top 100 tempos, so they don't want to play a slow down, knockdown, drag out fight with Houston. They'd rather get up and down and score points because they have Curtis Jones and Gilbert and these guys that can fill it up. They don't want to mess around with the old slug. They've tried that with Houston. They've tried it. And sometimes you got to zig when people zag.
Many have tried and many have failed. Houston is just that good. You don't want to get in the mud with those guys. You want to try to dictate the pace and do your thing. Babu's saying if IU was smart, Beard would be their next coach. Man, I don't know. That's just a mess right now. And if Chris Beard, is that something that you want to do? I mean, I get what comes with all of that with Indiana. I get it, but man, it's not a good situation up there right now. And we'll see if they can get that turned around. Good stuff, Babu. Good to see you in the live chat as well as Peanut Butter Posse, C Thug and Faith. Good to see you in there. Who else? Eric the Blue hopping in there with the Flames. Of course, Forklift Jeremy, who's done pretty well in those DFS streets for himself lately. Our guy Jody might be lingering. Jody, I got my cards for you here tonight. I got the 55 Bowman Willie Mays for you here, Jody, and then I got the 54 Teddy Williams, the old Teddy ball game here. I was chatting with our guy Jody about some cards recently, and we appreciate everybody for interacting with us. Even the comments in the live chat, like our guy Peanut Butter Posse likes to leave. We appreciate all of you guys, Peanut Butter Posse and the whole crew, including nobody talking about Mark Pope earlier in the day. Don't go too far. I'm about to get my wisdom teeth taken out, so I'm going to be off the screen for a couple of days at least. These guys are going to come back to you here soon, though. So make sure you have the notification bells on, like and subscribe, do your part in the green screens. See, almost got it. One more time I said green screen. The one and done universe here on One and Done College Basketball. That man right there is El Capitan himself, the captain of the one and done ship. That is Mr. Mike Holland. I am the conductor of the aforementioned one and done train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. I'll follow you back. I promise. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Don't go too far. One and done is never too far away from you. And I am the JAYHEINRICH. Come again. Peace out, y'all.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.